Guys, Klarna is showing up on TransUnion already. I at least thought that they were going to wait till like mid next year. But remember, I told you guys about this a couple of months ago. So now I'm just waiting for a firm to start reporting all across the board to all bureaus, your Afterpay, Zip, and all of those. If you have late payments with any of these buy now, pay later plans like Klarna, Zip, Afterfirm, beware, because 2026 it's going to tear your credit report up. So I'm going to show you what to do. So I'm looking at this person's Credit Karma report, just giving a simple little quick little 1-2 consultation. And I see Klarna. Now I look at reports every day, all day, anywhere from 30 to 40 reports all day to be exact. But I see this on a point of sale installment loans. Now, this is under your regular installment loan. So they made them a special little place on your credit report. Man, this is something. Like, I know we talked about it and everything, but to see it, I'm like, okay, let me see how far back they're going on reporting. Now, get this. This just showed up on this client's report 2 months ago, but it's dating back to open July when the client actually opened it. See that? So far, okay, no late payments or whatever, but if you scroll down to the other Klarnas, they have a late. All right? They have a late. So just so you know, guys, Klarna is not only reporting just from like whenever they first start reporting, they're backdating. They're backdating from the time you opened the account to put stuff on your credit report. So if you've had like any late payments with them, all that stuff is coming. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So just know, just to give you guys a refresher, that is not just coming down the pipeline, it's actually here now, and it's really going to start affecting people who have already defaulted on those loans like in the past, and you thought no harm no foul because it's not showing up on my credit report. Now the way out of that is I looked through Klarna's what do you call it, agreement or user agreement thingy. And there's no clause there that says that they will report to the credit bureaus. So I'm cooking because I just got onto this. I'm going to see if there's a way to get it off a credit report by just basically stating the facts that, because most cards, loans, installment loans, it's going to say, that's going to report to your credit report and all that stuff if you read the fine print. This one here with Klarna doesn't say that. So I'm going to do some digging. And y'all know I'm going to come back with the comeback and let you guys know what I find. I'll do a couple of disputes, see if I can get some Klarnas off with that. And I'll come back and let you know that as well, too. Just in case you want to know, especially if you have them. Now, I want to talk real quick. And this is just like a brush up video. I know that the long videos where I'm actually teaching and showing you like actual methods. I'm sure that the teaching videos can kind of get long and laborious. So I just want to teach probably for about 5 minutes. Y'all give me 5 minutes. I want to show you some stuff and just kind of brush up on some Metro 2 stuff that I haven't talked about in a while because I've been busy talking about a bunch of other stuff that's going on. But back to the teaching, guys. Now, if you are disputing stubborn charge-offs, I'm getting a lot of questions in the mentorships about stubborn charge-offs. It's like everybody knows all these strategies for collections and, stuff like that. But the charge-offs are seeming to be some of the most bigger problems. So I made this for someone that signed up for a mentorship yesterday. And while I was making it, I thought, girl, make a video and show everybody this. So if you are interested, here we go. Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do is just to make this quick, and I don't want to bore you off the video. So like if you want like the full Metro 2 teaching, just go to disputechamps.org. That is disputechamps.org.com, not .com. And the full teaching where I'm teaching like all of this, like really in depth, is there. So, but for now, I just want to give you about 5 minutes of teaching in case you're disputing those closed charged off accounts. And so let's get into this. Now, what I'm going to show you are required fields, and I'm also going to show you like the common inaccuracies found and what bureaus they're more commonly found on, in case you're having like some issues where one bureau is reporting it correctly, the other one is not. And you know, because a lot of people have like that Equifax Experian fight where they're like, you know, Equifax is totally easy, Experian is hard. You know, it's just, you know, everybody has their own experiences. So let's start with this. The account status is field 17A. Now, status doesn't match payment status. Okay, pay status with a charge off account payment history. Okay, so that is going to be your most commonly inaccuracy found that I have found with this field as related. And the most bureaus that I found that are making this inaccuracy are going to be Equifax and Experian. Okay, so this is going to give you an idea where we're going. So now you with me? All right, so let's go. All right, payment rating. And if you look on Smart Credit Report, it's going to show you the payment rating. If you look on the like Experian account, it's not really going to show you a payment rating. So if you're looking there, you're going to be lost. If you get Smart Credit or just a credit monitoring service like Smart Credit, like Identity IQ, who shows all 3 credit bureaus side by side, then you're going to see all 23 fields that are to be reported on an account, and you'll see payment rating. 17B is the field. Shows current on a closed charge-off account. That is a common inaccuracy that is found, most commonly found by me with Experian and TransUnion. Current balance, which is field 21. Now, the balance is reported after the account is paid. We see that a lot, settled, or even charged off. Balance is not reported accurately across the board with all bureaus. So we're seeing that with all 3 credit bureaus, guys. Date of last payment. Oh, I cannot tell you guys how much that is a big one. It's like they stay playing with that, you know, and re-agent that. We sue a lot of companies for this, by the way. Date of last payment, which is field 27, reporting a recent date on an account that hasn't had payments in years, used to re-age it. Okay, so TransUnion and Equifax is good for that, and you have a bunch of collection agencies, third parties that are good for that. That we get to sue a lot, you know, and get money back and deletions for our clients. But yeah, and it sucks. So date of last delinquency, which you might see on your credit report as DOFD, which is field 25. Now, all of these fields that I'm calling out here on my screen, these are required fields. So you can count on them if you are disputing. So missing or inaccurate, extended, how long negative information remains on the credit report. Experian and TransUnion, you know, they do that a lot. Date close. And what I'm really going to do, guys, as soon as I post this video, I'm going to go ahead and put this as a free download on tinatalkscredit.com so that you can have access to it. And you can go up there and download it for yourself. I would say I'm going to put it like in the description, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how to do that. So this you can use as a guide to kind of help you out. So I'm not going to go over all of these fields with you guys, but I mean, this is here. It's here for you. And this is like some more. It's so many fields that report on these accounts, guys. It's crazy. It's just a lot. And this is just a list of like more required fields. And right here is conditionally required fields. Remember, I spoke to you about that. So it only matters like if the account status, the dispute status, or the account type. Some of them may have fields that may be required on them at that time and may not. So you just got to get to know Metro 2 to kind of know whether or not, you know, this will apply to you in your dispute process. But like I said, this will get you started on a good foot if you are a credit repair company or just an individual who is currently repairing your credit. And I did a lot of research on this, guys, and this was like back in the day. Like Metro 2 has really done a lot for our business with disputing and our whole dispute process that we use here. So don't get discouraged. Let me stop sharing here. Okay. So yeah, don't get discouraged if you have been using AI for Metro 2 disputes and it's not working as good as the hype led it up to be. Don't give up on Metro 2. It's just probably how you're using it, and it can also be who you are sending the disputes to. Most of the time with Metro 2 inaccuracies or violations, I don't send a lot of those dispute letters to the actual credit bureaus. I go straight to the horse's mouth and send them into the compliance manager of Capital One, Citibank, whoever that is. We file a lot of complaints using our Metro 2 code violations. And I also do a lot of combining Metro 2 violations in with Fair Credit Reporting Act violations, Fair Debt Collection Practices violations, whatever kind of violations we can kind of throw at them. And don't forget, guys, to isolate your disputes. When you're doing this, you don't want to put 3 or 4 different accounts on one letter and talking about Metro 2 and all that stuff. That's just too much. It doesn't work that good, okay? So take the time. Take it from me, I'm old school. Take the time to go ahead and individualize your disputes, especially if you wanted to get off. I mean, it's better to take 30 to 45 minutes creating one dispute letter than to take 5 minutes through AI and dispute like 20 things at one time, but still be disputing it 8 months later. It's just my opinion, guys. If you are interested in a mentorship with me, Tina Talks Credit, go to tinatalkscredit.com or in the description to schedule your mentorship. 45 minutes. On those mentorships, I try to jam pack them with every single thing that I possibly can think of. I always advise people before your mentorship, just make bullet points of what you want to ask and what you want so that you get the most from your 45-minute call. We can do a Zoom. I send dispute letters. I'll even make you dispute letters like while we're talking. If you're needing something, we can put our head together and come up with strategy, all kinds of things. Like I give away everything. I'm literally like an open book on those mentorships, and I send out a lot of stuff. If you have taken a mentorship and you can like attest to it, put it in the comments, let the folks know that I really do look you up in the mentorships. Also, if you just have quick questions, you can do quick questions with Tina, and that's like a 15-minute call. We can jump on it, we can hit it and quit it, and you can get some questions answered. If you are looking for a service, of course, we are happy to take you on as a client as well. If you are looking to become a student to learn more about credit repair, check us out at disputechamps.org. Yes, that is .org, not .com. If you are looking for a more villaged credit repair community, check us out over on our school platform. We are building, so we're still in the building process of building up our community there. But my hope is by the end of January, we'll be going strong over there. And that is where I plan to do like a lot of weekly lives and just all the things there. I'm just going to jam pack it. It's going to be like my community for dispute champs. So we're starting now. Memberships are free now. They won't be free the middle of January, but memberships on school are free right now. So if you want to help me build up my school community, I greatly appreciate it. And you are welcome to come and just kind of get started with us as we build from the ground up for free. If you start helping us build now, you will remain free for your entire duration, just to let you guys know that. So until the next video, we will talk soon. Bye, guys.